before Alex runs into this next segment,
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
not crack 'em if you got 'em. Sponsored by Drip, baby.
Well, let me get mine in too. Go for it, Anth.
Oh, crack me if you got him. Ad always yells at me if
Crack
it's
me
not
if you
on.
got
If
'em.
it's
I know.
not on it.
I don't think about that. I just think of, us having a good time and cracking them.
That's true.
Okay.
What are we doing? Oh, we got it. We haven't even done the 10 storylines.
Eat me out, Eatman. Tell us your stories. Eat me out, Eatman. We want the truth. Eat me out, Eatman. Top 10 weekly stories so Cowboys CanFan can steal from you.
That's a little intro song.
That's the best intro song.
That was good.
But you know what? We're doing a different intro song for Eat Me Out until we land on one.
I like that. That was
What's
pretty
up
good.
there? Hey,
I
it's our
think you
first.
need to have Nick in there at some point.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Nick. He got bullied in school.
I don't know. He looks like a pretty big guy.
Look, we love you, Nick. It's all for fun. The Eat Me Out Eatman moniker is simply because it's fucking hilarious to have a nickname.
Yeah,
called,
if
nickname of Eat Me Out.
If anyone's gonna get upset with our fucking song, go pound.
His
sand.
last name's Eatman. Like,
Look,
at least we said Eat Me Out. Like,
Eat Me Out.
Could have went
it
way
could've been
worse. We could have went way worse.
We could have
with
gone
it.
butthole. We could have done all
Yeah,
that
it could have been Nick Eatman's butthole.
Eatman's butthole. We didn't do it, Nick.
We
So,
went just Eat Me Out. Eat Me Out, Eatman.
and I think that's pretty hot.
I think it's good. Big picture storylines for Cowboys Bengals.
Big pictures, storylines for the Cowboys and the Bengals from our boy Nick Eatman. Here are the top 10 big stories for this week, with 5 for the Bengals and 5 for the Cowboys. Starting with the Bengals, Adam Bessie,
Ooh.
a.k.a. A Best Roll. Oh, look, we just got little tight stories.
AKA Adderall ad.
Adderall ad. It's been an interesting yet disappointing season for the Bengals, who are near the bottom of the AFC with a 4-8 record. Cincinnati, which is impossible to spell, so you better Google it, has struggled the most in close games, posting an 0-6 record in the games decided by 6 points or less.
You got to keep it close. You got to keep it close.
Brandon Aubrey.
Essentially, Bengals are the opposite of what we looked at. I think it was 9 of the 11 wins that the Kansas City Chiefs have been within a score as well. So it's really comes down to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, you gotta hang with these Bengals, man. And I disagree. You said Brandon Aubrey. I don't want to see Aubrey at all. I don't want to settle for 3. You can't. You settle for 3.
No, I was
more
saying,
than 2 times.
I was just saying 6 points or less, because then
Yeah,
Brandon Aubrey's
but-
going to win the game for us.
Can't.
That's my bold prediction. Brandon Aubrey's going to win the game for us.
Like on a kick last minute.
It has
drive.
to be. It has for that to happen. It has to be buzzer beater.
Yeah, buzzer beater, Brandon Aubrey.
Okay, I'd already locked in. Okay, Joe Burrow doesn't look like a quarterback of a 4-8 team. We talked about that. His stats don't as well, as he currently leads the NFL in completions, attempts, passing yards, and passing touchdowns. That's a 4. That's a 4-peat right there. The Bengals are tied for 5th in the NFL, scoring 27.9 points per game, but they're the only team in that top 5 with a losing record. So again, it's the Bengals offense can score. They will score at least 27.9 points. It's a race to 35.
Well, here's something that is really going to ruffle our feathers if we were Eagles, but instead we are
Cowboys.
We're cooking those stupid Eagles up at Cowboys on the range, baby. The Bengals have arguably the best 1-2 receiver duo punch in the NFL when healthy. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are quite a combination, I agree. Led by Chase, who leads the NFL in both receiving yards, 1,142, when we saw that was quite a bit ahead of CeeDee Lamb's 880 yards, same amount of catches, and touchdown catches, 13 compared to CeeDee's 4. Higgins has played just 7 games, but is averaging 6.1 catches and 79.2 yards per game, and has a receiving touchdown in each of the last 3 games. Yikes! That offense is rolling, and
It's scary. They can put up points, man.
well, I don't want to jump ahead because perhaps he's writes about this guy too. But there is the other Chase, the running back, Chase Brown. And he is also something real hot, and I like that
two
kid.
chases.
I do like that kid. I like that kid.
Canadian boy too.
Yeah.
I heard Anth in the fantasy football draft say he thinks that Chase was going to be better than Zach Moss, so I fucking picked Chase up in 3 other leagues, and he did me well.
Yeah,
Hey, but guess
it was
what?
between.
Sorry, I should say he did me well. I didn't make playoffs in any of the leagues
Well,
except
you
for the
didn't
CanFan league.
and you didn't pick him up in Dwack because it was between Jay and I, and Jay took Chase Brown, so then I took Moss.
Yeah, and you said Chase Brown. The Bengals and Cowboys are tied for 26 in the NFL for most points allowed, each averaging 28.3 points per game for their defense. In the Bengals' last 3 games, they've scored 99 points overall and have lost all 3 games, yielding 113.
Adge generated commas when he does his.
I know. No, that's my
AI.
AI ad.
Oh, AI ad?
Yeah, Adam. Man, 99 points and you lost all 3 games. Could you imagine?
How messed up is that?
I think that's a record. I think that stat was a record I saw.
Scoring that many points and losing all 3 games.
He's had Joe Burrow, if they had a winning record, would be in an MVP contention.
100% he would be. They said out of the 12 quarterbacks that have similar stats that he has right now, I think 10 of them had MVP seasons.
I don't want to derail, but this is how we do it.
That's crazy.
How do you
This
rank?
is how we do
No, this
it.
brings up a question. So, how do you how much does a team record rank on a player's MVP? Because MVP stands for most valuable player, and I think it's how you decide what most valuable player actually means.
You would have to have a year where you didn't have a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen.
Someone else who could is a close 2 or 3.
Like right now, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are both playing pretty out of their minds. So for their teams to be in the postseason contention, Josh Allen, you watch his he was the first quarterback with a touchdown pass, touchdown receiving, and touchdown rushed.
That's wild.
In a game. So it's too tough for a 4-8 quarterback to be in that conversation unless he breaks a touchdown passing record.
Unless he was number 1 breaking records in all of these categories.
But the craziest thing is one of the first things we saw was that he leads 4 big categories in the as a quarterback, so he is playing as one of the better quarterbacks. But at what point do you go, okay, Dak Prescott gets fucking hammered on for these garbage time stat padding? They call him stat pad Scott. But what about the game? What about the games where Joe Burrow? He's just trying to lead a hero comeback. Well, what do you want your quarterback to do when you're losing?
Well, so
he's going to put up numbers.
100%.
I want him to fucking give up and throw interceptions.
Hopefully on Monday.
Pull him. The thing about it, I think you nailed the head on the coffin on the head.
You nailed the hammer on the head of the nail.
I'm a little loopy droopy right now. But unless that team has a playoff chance,
playoffs.
You can't have him in contention. I don't think they right now, like whenever because they do it right to the last game. So if that team makes the postseason, if the Bengals make postseason, I don't know what their percentages. They're probably
they're 4-8. They're not. They're 0. They're not. It's impossible.
I'm not going to say everything.
Sure.
Hey, David Blaine can go into ice and come out.
They're
surviving.
statistically eliminated.
Okay, so then he can't be he's not in that conversation. If there was a shred of chance, like they had a 6% chance and they actually ended up making the postseason, he could absolutely be that team's MVP because he willed them into that moment. But a losing team, you can't be an MVP.
Okay, left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. returned to the lineup for the first time last week after being out since an October 27th injury to his fibula.
Not the tibia.
Fibula, man. Brown was fighting through it at the end, according to head coach Zach Taylor, but the Bengals expect Brown to be ready for the Monday night game. Expect the Cowboys coaching staff to be alerting the officiating crew of Brown, who was shown several times in the last game against the Steelers getting an early jump on the snap count, although the officials rarely called him for a false start.
What's the snap count?
Look for that to be on a point of emphasis as he tries to block Micah Parsons this week.
Mike McCarthy goes up to the ref. He's like, "Hey, that Orlando Bloom, who? Yeah, the big guy over there. That Orlando Bloom.
Like,
Orlando Bloom Jr." Okay, yes, coach.
So he's the
What should we
right or left tackle? Left tackle, I'm going to say.
I think I got to get a little look-ski at him.
Oh yeah, we got to look at him. Is he? Okay,
I mean,
so
that's
not related to Legolas for sure.
Nope.
Not
How
related.
do you know
to
he's not an elf?
Well, he's just not. I can tell you that right now. He doesn't have the pointed ears.
He's been in the NFL for a long ass time.
He's probably older than Orlando Bloom.
You said he doesn't have pointy ears? Look a little pointed in that
Oh, you
picture.
know what? Yeah, you're right. He's kind of pointed.
Got a little orcish there. A little orcish.
Why? Because he's black?
Give me his
he's got orc ears.
Urikai. Give me his
draft.
Not even. Just give me his Wikipedia, or his PFF.
Yeah, PFF.
Let's PFF this guy.
We're deep diving on
He's been in the
Orlando
NFL
Bloom
for a long
Jr.
time. tackle.
6'8", 345.
Overall grade, 58.7.
Oh, don't Superman me with those glasses, you son of a bitch.
Did you see?
Don't Clark Kent me.
Did you see?
He's Clark Kenting me right now.
I know, but did you see his size?
No.
He's huge.
Look to the left.
Whoa!
He's only 28. We're like, he's been in the league for
Well, he
so
probably
long.
has been since he was 21. And with if you're
a long
6'8",
6'8". He was probably drafted at 19.
I will say this: overall grade, that's a little dehydrated pee right there.
So I Googled because I just wanted to figure out what position he plays. Like I just wanted to get quickly what position he plays, but I Googled Orlando Bloom position.
Is it a
Know
sex
what happened.
position?
But you didn't get it. I Googled the wrong person.
I know you did. That's what I'm saying. No, did they have some sort of Lord of the Rings position?
He's a tackle. Look, I'm moving into the Cowboys.
Okay, we're in the
lore.
Cowboys.
Now we're in Cowboys lore.
Are you? Is it you?
Yeah, it's me.
Left tackle. He's a left tackle.
He's a lot.
I thought we knew that.
I already knew that, bro.
Yeah,
Well, I was
Hey.
asking you guys that.
Oh well.
No,
Dude, we're
nobody
moving.
told
Hey,
me.
us over here, we're Night Riders. We're moving at light speed. You're over there in analog form, bro.
Look, I was in the middle of arguing if Orlando Brown Jr. was a orc or not with Adam.
True.
So
That's true.
Well, he's definitely at that height. He's definitely your guy.
he's a fucking Urikai,
Yeah,
baby.
he's definitely your guy. Okay, here you go.
The Cowboys are desperately trying to stay alive in the NFC playoff picture with a 2-game win streak to push to 5-7. It's still a very uphill battle for this team, which finally won its first home opener of the season. We were there on Thanksgiving, beating up those stupid ass fucking Giants. The Cowboys have 3 straight games against teams without a winning record, including the 4-8 Bengals this Monday night. Again, the 4-8 Bengals still feel like a
They feel
tough
better.
team.
They feel better than a 4-8 team should.
It's the defense sucking, but if the Cowboys can't keep pace in the early game, it's going to be...
It's irrelevant if your offense can't.
I would say this: if the Cowboys don't keep pace in the first half, the game might end close within 7 or 10, but it won't be a close game.
Am I going to be doing second half math?
You're going to be doing second half math for sure. I think if we have our guys like Diggs being back.
Well, hey, just read this. It's segueing
perfect
into that.
segue.
Hey,
Segue. Hey. Injuries have been major storylines for the Cowboys all season long, highlighted by the loss of Dakota Prescott-Rain for half the season, not to mention injuries to key Pro Bowlers such as Mekhi Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Deron Bland, Trevon Diggs, and Zach Martin. Currently, the injury front looks somewhat positive as they got Brandon Cooks back last week from his weirdo knee injury.
Yep.
And now Diggs and Martin...
knee?
Domini knee. Zombie knee. And now Diggs and Martin could return for this game. Lawrence remains on IR with a foot injury and considered to be a long shot to play Monday night, but he's getting closer to return.
Man,
I don't care if Lawrence is back. I want Diggs and Bland on the field at the same time, so I know that they're real. They're real.
Yeah, is it possible for them to be on the field at the same time?
With the receiving core that the Bengalis have, we need Deron Bland and Trevon Diggs both being back on the field together.
And especially with that Butler injury, who's looking good.
Yeah.
Jordan Lewis has been playing pretty well. I would like to see the secondary have a little boost with having both Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland out there. It'd be nice. It would be.
Just think about this, guys. Cowboys go ahead and win. If they beat these Bengals, then they go ahead and play a much more easier team. Everyone knows it in the Panthers. Everyone comes back. We get Lawrence back. The team looks a lot stronger, and we've pulled off some incredible victories. Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Super
if
Bowl.
the Bengals win, hell yeah. Cooper Rush has improved his play since taking over for Dak Prescott, who was out for the season with a hamstring injury that required surgery.
Yeah,
Rush
Cooper's first game, he looked like rookie.
45
Rookie
yards.
Rush.
He passed for
Rookie
45, didn't he? What do I do? What do I do?
Who do you want me to fuck?
Rush is starting to get more comfortable in the offense. Not only has he won the last 2 games as a starter, but he's taking better care of the ball, going interception free in the last 2 wins. That's key. If you're not going to burn the stats, if you're not going to put up 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, just don't give the team extra possessions.
A good game from Cooper Rush to me is 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
Just don't fumble the ball either.
And no
Every
fumble.
game we've seen him, he's fumbled, but he's recovered. Like even last game, he fumbled, but he still recovered.
Hey,
just stop doing that. Just catch the ball.
There's
when
a
you got
very
it.
funny moment in the Sounds of the Sideline from last week where Shoddy is with him and he's talking about Cooper fumbling. You go back and rewatch that moment where Schottenheimer is talking to Cooper Rush about fumbling the ball and how he scared them. It's the best moment about Sounds of the
I
Sideline.
have to watch it this week. So
Rush is about to start his 5th game this year, the most he's ever had in a season. Back in 2022, Rush went 4-1 as a starter in 5 games. He filled in for Prescott, so he lied. Rush is about to start his 5th game this year, the most he's ever had in a season. But then he said he was 4-1 as a starter in 5 games.
An idiot.
I think
So it's not the most that he's started. 6 would be the most.
Yeah, exactly.
He's started 5 games in a season before. Nick,
You stupid
That's
fuck.
not. Oh yeah, this is Nick. Nick, you're about to get your fucking balls clapped.
Botg says Cooper Rush winning a Super Bowl with the Cowboys would be the saddest thing to ever happen to Dak Prescott.
yeah, but I'd still take it.
Oh, could you imagine what we would as soon as we won the Super Bowl, people would be tweeting about how get rid of Dak.
I mean, I might
Right
have
away.
I might have to buy into it. If they go from a 5-7 team and win this, if they make the dance, I'm gonna be like, do I think he should supplant Dak Prescott? No. But even if they somehow get to 5-7 and somehow make the postseason,
I almost don't want it for the. Actually, you know what? As a content creator,
Yeah, we want it.
yeah,
You
you
want
need
it.
it.
You want it. You want it.
You need it.
Since Micah Parsons returned, and he has returned with a fucking vengeance, ladies and gentlemen, from his high ankle sprain, he's not only on a tear, no pun intended,
Ooh, I see what you did there.
but he's leading a defensive charge as well. Parsons had just 1 sack in the first 4 games before his injury. In the 4 games since he's returned, Parson has 5.5 sacks, including 3 different multi-sack games. He's now up to 6.5 sacks and on pace to lead the team in sacks for his fourth straight season. And that would be a feat coming off of that injury and leading. And I do hope he continues. Real quick, guys, is Micah Parsons an ingredient that is he the rising tide that lifts
Yes.
all ships?
I hope
Yes.
so.
It feels
Yes.
like that.
They have since he's been back. The defense looks a lot better. I'll give that. The defense looks a hell of a lot better, and he's kind of taking that leadership role a little bit. So it's good to see. And maybe he needed a little bit of adversity.
Absolutely. And I think when you look at everybody who was talking smack about Micah and being this and that, it's like
Us included.
having him on that team, as an offense, you have to game plan for him regardless. Having Micah on the field absolutely makes the defense better because you're game planning 2 to 3 players.
Yeah, and look, I was expecting Micah to come back a little bit slower, but he's come back with a vengeance. I think
He came out of the gates of hell.
In the last 2 games, he's gotten 3.5 sacks, and he's been really causing havoc.
He's looked good. He's looked good.
Great.
I mean, he's done. Hey,
It looked good. I mean, against the Giants, like you said, if you can't.
he's done it on some fucking weak teams, bro.
No, the Commanders. I was going to say you
no.
can't really say shit about the Eagles. He played well too. So you can't really say much about the Giants game, but he did it in 2 other games. So
Well, the 100-yard game is still the standard for a running back. The 85.
It is mine.
no, you
Go
just
for
read
it.
the
No,
you just read the last one.
Okay.
You read the Micah one.
I did read the Micah one.
one. Hey, are you gonna buy me a drink? I'm not buying you a drink. I just bought you a drink.
I'm not fucking buying you a drink.
Why would I buy you a drink? Because I just bought you one.
While the 100-yard game is still the standard for a running back, the 85-yard mark seems to be a difference maker for the Cowboys and Rico Dowdle. I don't have the soundbite queued. He has 3 games over 85 yards this year, and the Cowboys are 3-0 in those.
That should be fucking enough stats
Okay,
right
guess
there.
what?
Like,
Yeah.
There's
get him
one-
to 85 yards, man. Let's see if this is a real thing.
One storyline: Rico over 85,
We win.
and we're 3-0. Including last week's season high 112 yards against the Giants. Dowdle also rushed for 86 yards 2 weeks ago against Washington and 87 in a win over the Steelers earlier in the season. So, wow,
85 to win.
85 plus, and the Cowboys' run games being established. I smell a victory.
It's twofold. The thing is twofold here. Number one, it's not utilizing Rico enough to get him to that mark, or is it the Cowboys weren't trusting their rush game enough and not trusting Rico enough earlier in the season or during those losses?
They were handing off too many carries. They were splitting the carries.
You
too
don't-
much.
you don't
Split it
ha-
too much.
You don't have the talent to do a fucking running back by committee.
They did.
No, but
definitely
look,
didn't.
just like in my Madden game, sometimes you got to roll through a hard first, second quarter with your running back, and he might just be getting 3 yards here, 2 yards there. But it's a game of attrition, and what you're doing is you're chipping away,
Chipping at
And
that
now,
block. Chipping
in
at that block.
In the third and fourth quarter, those runs start to open up. 6 yards, 7
7
yards, 10 yards. Oh
23
no,
yards.
I can't handle
What
it.
did you say? What was the one you just said?
23 yards.
No, Cowboys. Yeah,
No, 15.
23. That would be the Cowboys' highest rushing.
Hey,
Didn't Rico
wanna
run
see it.
for 21 yards last game?
Exactly. So 23 would be his best of
Yeah,
the
I'm
year.
just thinking he's on an incline.
okay.
I want to see an 85-yarder by Rico Dowdle.
No, they're going to say that for Sedarius Lamb or fucking
Yeah, let's
Devontae
give him a
Turpin
let's
on
give him a
screen.
jet sweep.
Jet sweep.
Just want to shout out to Eat Me Out there.
Yeah, it's always a
Great stories,
always
my
fun.
man.
Play
Great.
his
And
outro song.
imagine
stories.
having to go to battle and do what he does when they're 5-7.
No, I thought you were talking about Nick Eatman.
I was. Mad.
Eat me out, Eatman, tell us your stories. Eat me out, Eatman, we want the truth. Eat me out, Eatman, top 10 weekly stories, so Cowboys CanFan can steal from you.
Hey!